Our next speaker is Rita Davis. A moving story. A moving story, Rita Davis.
Yes, I have a moving story. This is a story that you will relate to if you have ever been moved, especially if you have been moved in a big way. It's a story about Reese, an Australian guy, late 20s, living in California, and his lady, Steph, an American, same age, their 2-year-old daughter, and they were moving all of their worldly possessions from their 2-bedroom apartment on the 13th floor of a building in San Francisco, moving down the coast 8 hours to San Diego. And they had this organised to a T. They got the best moving company, Pod City Services, who were the specialists. And they were moving on a Monday in December. Saturday was Christmas Day. And they had it organised. They were going to load the pod. Now, in America, if your gear was going to go into storage for any amount of time, you had to move with a pod. And a pod gets delivered at the back of the truck in front of the building. It's like a mini shipping container. But it takes 3 days to get a permit from the council, but all was under control. So the specialists arrived and started loading the pod. But it turned out that these specialists really weren't so special, because all of a sudden I got a text. Ooh. We can't fit everything into the pod. We are in trouble. Everyone join me in saying, oh no, oh no. The whole thing is a big capital RIP, rest in peace, with the gravestone emoji. Now, big trouble is not what he actually wrote, but you get the gist. So, they were not happy. They screwed up the volume of the pod. So it was decided Steph and the daughter would start heading down the coast and stay overnight. And Reese had ordered another pod, the smallest one available, 7 foot long, but it would take 2 days to get there. But of course it takes 3 days to get a permit. This was now Monday. He was going to be positive, booked a flight to San Diego Wednesday night, and just thought waiting for the pod to arrive. Now, Tuesday afternoon, the permit wasn't going to come through. Everybody, oh no! Yes. And so he thought, he rang the pod company and he begged them, please, can I bring everything to you and load the pod at the depot? Now, that is allowable, but they want 72 hours notice. But because he'd paid for a 7 foot long pod for $2,000, they said, okay, on Thursday between 8 and 3 p.m. you can come and load the pod. So that Wednesday, he went to a teller machine and he got out $250, $150 for the cleaners for the unit, $50 each for the removalists, because you have to tip them, even though he really didn't want to. And that night, him and his mate loaded up the truck from U-Haul. Now, San Francisco is a very dry city. It hardly ever rains there. The last 6 days, they had had more rain than they'd had the last 36 years. And the next morning, when it was time to do the hour to go to the pod place, they're in the truck in the pouring rain. And when they get there, all the pods are set out at the depot, out in the open, and they have to unload the sofa and the armchairs and the boxes in the pouring rain, and everything got soaked. Oh no! Oh. And what's more, they had a beloved 8 foot long wardrobe which wasn't going to fit in the 7 foot long pod. And then they had to take it to the tip and pay for the tip to take it. Oh no! Oh. But finally they finished the job and they get back in, and he gave them each the tip to the removalist very begrudgingly. And as they're driving back into town, he gets a call from the cleaners. We're not cleaning your apartment for $50. He'd given one of the 150 ones to one of the removalists. Oh no! Oh, so then he had to go to the teller machine, pull out another $100 and take it back to the apartment for the cleaners. And as he was coming out for the last time, he went and checked the mailbox. And there was one advertising leaflet in there. And and he said, my last bit of mail is a leaflet saying Bay City moves are easier with Pod City services. And I said, yep, the universe has got a sense of humour. I texted back. The universe can go bite itself, he returned. And I thought, I don't know how the universe is going to feel about this disrespect. Anyway, that night he goes to the airport. He gets his booking, gets his ticket, goes through security check-in, and he goes to a bar. And he sits there and he's on his laptop. And when his flight is called, he just grabs his backpack, walks to the gate. And as he's going to the gate, in through the speakers come, Rhys Davis, please go to security check-in, Rhys Davis. And he's watching people boarding. And so he with his backpack, he runs all the way through the airport, back to security check-in. And when he gets there, they said, have you got your laptop? He went, no. Is this it? And he opens it up, there's his name, types it in, yes, it's his password, they give it to him. He rushes back on the plane, they let him in and they shut the doors. Now, it was a 1-hour flight to San Diego. And after 2 hours, I sent a text saying, did you have a smooth flight? 2-hour delay. Oh, no. And we're on the tarmac and I can't even get a drink. Oh, no. And I thought to myself, moving story or not, the universe always gets the last laugh.